Hello and welcome to another wonderful talk at the Positive Future for Health podcast. I'm your host, Althea Finch. I'm the creator of the Pain-Free Method. What's that? That's how to be pain-free by tuning into you. And you can find out more about that at painfreedom.co.uk. And as well as teaching people to be pain-free with my methods, I started this podcast to invite other natural health experts. 'Cause I don't know, I only know my thing. There is so much information out there. So I was super inspired to start this podcast and to invite natural health experts to talk about their wisdom and knowledge, share with us so that we can all heal and better our lives. So on today's podcast, we have the wonderful Dr. Jo Whittaker, and we met not so long ago. I do events like she does. And we met at an event, it's a wonderful healing event, and she did the most amazing demonstration, which I hope she's going to be talking about, that was just like, wow, it was incredible. Right in the middle of the hall, in the middle of just up and did it. Did this amazing body testing, muscle testing thing. It was incredible. And I got chatting, and I thought, please come on the podcast. And I'm so pleased she has. Dr. Jo Whittaker, can you tell us more about yourself? What are you all about? How did you get into what you do? Who are you?
Thank you so much for the question, Althea. And we've been. I interviewed you because I was very inspired with the message that you bring, and what really caught my eye was your quantum positioning on what you do. We live in a quantum reality, and when people understand that, then they can start to heal much more effectively. And this is what I found out. So just a bit about my background. You can see there's a doctor there. I'm a scientist rather than a medical doctor. So uh, and I did my first degree in genetics and microbiology, my master's degree in oncology, and my PhD was in immunology. And I'm going to be careful about what I say here, but you know what they rolled out relatively recently, like in about 2020, 2021? That's
Was
what
that
my
then?
PhD was in. And I was blowing the whistle
Amazing.
before anything happened, but I got
Yeah.
shut down so hard. And even my friends and family, even though I'm subject matter expert, I said, Guys, this A won't work because there's and I explained, I was putting up papers on Facebook, I was sending this, that, the other. I was going, it's impossible for it to work as they suggest. But also it's going to cause some major issues long term. And my family ignored me, and my friends did. And they actually thought I was crazy and maybe unstable, and maybe I shouldn't even have my children. So I realized something is going on here. Right? And it isn't just about, how much newspapers people read. There is something happening that is changing people's kind of what they're focused on. They seem to be getting information from elsewhere. And it took me about 18 months before I found anybody else awake. And one of those people I found awake, which you guys might know, is Professor Angus Dalgleish. And he was my external examiner. So when I actually found him awake, and he was saying the same things that I had, because by the way, none of this is hidden. It's all in the science. It's all there. It just wasn't very widely shared. And to hear him speak, and to go through my own experience of having posts from Facebook taken down when all I had done is shared a real paper, a published paper. That made me then look into why my friends and family started literally to think completely differently despite knowing me all my life, and why our reality maybe. I was like, well, if this is all nonsense, what else is? So I did a massive deep dive into how to detox people because I could see big issues coming up. And so I tested on myself. And actually, the detoxing landscape was really confusing because there was, you can detox like this and detox like this. And I was like, wow. So I researched that for about a year because I tried to get to the bottom of what was happening. And eventually one day it clicked in me because I'd been detoxing myself. And I went to an event and a lady was doing crystal healing on people. And I could see this big shining light coming out the crystal. But I've never been able to see it before. Didn't know anything about crystals. And I said, that's a really lovely crystal. Have you got a torch at the back of it? And she said, No, she said, she said no. And I said, but there's a big light coming out of it. When you pick it up and when you put it down, it goes. Um, and so she reassured me that I wasn't going crazy because then I met somebody else who could always see. And we did like this experiment in this room and held up different crystals. And then I described what the waves look like and the color of the, how far and close they were together. You can literally see a frequency coming out of them. And we did it blinded, and we got the same answers. So I was like, right, okay, I'm not crazy. So what is this? What is this? And I realized the reason why I could see is not because all of a sudden one day I was magic, is that I could see more of the electromagnetic spectrum of light because I'd removed from my field toxins. And what I came to understand after deep diving into the quantum nature of our reality is that the very smallest part of us are magnetic frequency waves. And they're either in harmony or they are in disharmony and they're disruptive. And I realized every single toxin, whether you're talking about EMF radiation, mercury, the highest toxin, whatever it is, um, it is positively charged. And that isn't kind of in the electrical sense. It means that as the magnetic wave is forming, so you might have seen frequency traces like this, which are 2D, right? What you can't see is it's actually a, a wave that's going either clockwise or anti-clockwise. And you can't tell from the trace which way round it is spinning. I'm spinning my finger the same way, but you would probably see it as a trace either way. Or I could do it this way, right? And so when everything is clockwise as we view it, negatively charged, it is in the same flow as us. And when it's positively charged, it disrupts the flow. And that sounds okay. So that's kind of going on the edge of science here. But let me explain to you.
That makes sense.
Has anybody ever been in a bumper car, right? And everybody's going the right way round, all together. And you can have different size of cars, different colours of cars. But imagine your biofield is like millions or billions of these cars. If you've got a few idiots going the wrong way, it just causes chaos, right? And disruption. And the way that it's solved is the guy comes out, doesn't he? And he stands on the back, turns it the right way around, and or he removes the person because they're being a right pain. And literally, that is how toxins affect our biofield at that level. And this is how you sort it out. You get everything spinning the right way, or you neutralize them and take them out of the equation.
And
And then,
it doesn't take much, doesn't it? I mean, I'm on a detox this week. I've got a big meditation weekend coming up, and they want us to detox and cleanse our bodies, which I can't I personally I can't be bothered. I just want to do my regular things. I don't want to do my don't go want to get out of my normal habits. But this was a requirement, and I thought, oh, fine. But do you know what? It's interesting. I mean, I'm just drinking no sugar, no water, no fats, no salts, everything just plain, just as God created it. That's it. And just straight off the vine, even my tomato vine started dropping tomatoes, saying, "Here you go, Althea, eat this." I was like, it's so funny how it all syncs. And I'm feeling brighter. And I have a glass of wine here and there, so none of that. It's just pure uh, plain cooking. I thought, oh God, how awful. But actually, all your taste buds start waking up. And the tomato was like, it's delicious. Didn't need any salt or vinegar or anything, nothing. Just plain brown rice. Who'd have thought? And I feel clearer already. It's just been a few days of cleansing.
wow.
I feel more awake, and so I see what you mean about it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to just switch into cleansing and clearing. Just a
Did you do a
little.
fast with that?
No, it was just deep pure food, and
Right,
no
okay.
salt, no sugar, no oils, no dairy. Just plain fruit and veg, brown rice, lentils and beans. That's it, salad, but
Right.
all plain.
Hmm.
And I thought, oh God, how am I never going to do this? But actually, it's easy because I thought, well, they're not saying don't eat it. They just said eat these kinds. I
Yeah.
went into panic mode, like I can't eat.
Yeah.
No, it was just eat the right things. But I can feel already a cleaner feeling. My mind's cleaner.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, but do go ahead. I'm a complete novice with detoxing, but
Yeah.
you're all about it.
Yeah. So that sounds quite, it sounds like a really brilliant thing to do. And that's great advice because the thing is most of our food is synthetic, even the fruit and vegetables. If you go to a supermarket rather than an organic biodynamic farm, you are basically eating petroleum. And that's a lot of those idiots going the wrong way around your track. And so it's disruptive. It's kind of given in one hand and out the other. And as we know, most of the food that is, put on our shelves and then in our processed food and everything, it's got no minerals in it. It's got none. They've literally been grown on land without any minerals. And this is where biodynamic farming comes in because it's on there. And I'm very, very fortunate that there's a biodynamic farm down the road from me, although it took me about 25 years to find it. But and I think all of that stuff helps. But just to say, Althea, on our website, so I've actually got a free detox guide. And it doesn't tell people, it kind of tells people how it works and the order to do it. And in my experience of, so obviously when I could see what was happening and people kind of were ignoring the warnings and all my friends and family that I loved, I started to, persuade them to detox and they came on board slowly but surely. But actually it was people that I didn't know came on board a lot quicker than my family. And so by now I've detoxed thousands of people because I've done videos and explained the process. But now I've written a guide which is on our website, crystalwaterexperience.com, so people can download it for free. Because what I've found is, I think it's great what you've done, but 50% of people, even if they didn't change their food, even if they didn't change their drinking habits, right, were detoxing from and then no, right? Because they got clearer, or their skin would clear up, or they wouldn't have allergies anymore, or their aches and pains would go. That would happen if they changed the water. The water, the tap water, is the most significant factor in people's health. And it's don't forget, it's always in a processed food. It's in drinks that you get off the shelf when you go to the cafe and get a cup of coffee. They drink it, they're giving you tap water, and it's absolutely jam-packed with parasites, heavy metals, nitrates, and all sorts of different toxins. So, and it's not.
Never mind the coffee.
Never mind the coffee. Never mind the coffee. So the coffee stuff and all that. This is what I'm seeing now. The sweating, the stuff that doesn't matter. It's the water. And when you understand water, like we understand hydration, well, that's like hydrogen. Now, hydrogen can be in like any atom. It can be in two forms. It's either going to be positively or negatively charged. And the issue with that is that when it's positively charged, it doesn't cross your cellular membrane and go into your mitochondria. Because you've got these little things on the outside of your cells called aquaporins. They are positively charged. So if you've got positively charged hydrogen because the water you're drinking isn't negatively charged, it just repels and it
Mm.
sits around in the interstitial tissue. And this makes you alkaline. I mean, sorry, this makes you acidic. Sorry, the other way around. It makes your body what we call acidic, even though not one of your organs is one way or another, right?
Because the water can't get in to
It
the
can't
cell.
get in. And our energy generation center is in your mitochondria. And your mitochondria uses hydrogen,
So
right?
just the mitochondria, I've heard it so many times, but what is it exactly?
Well, you know what? Mitochondria are very magical because they're not. It's thought, so this is my genetics brain coming in here. I mean, that it has its own DNA system, and it's thought to be originally from a completely different organism to humans, but now lives symbiotically in us, right? So it's got a very weird heritage, but it is our battery that fuels our body. It's literally creates our energy, and when your mitochondria aren't creating energy, you slowly but surely decrease in vigor and vitality. So it's your battery, right? Your battery system, and it's in every single cell of your body. and it needs hydrogen to run. So you are you've probably seen all these hydrogen engine cars. That's how that's how you're fueled. I mean, obviously that is your energy supply, but you know, you've got other things that need to work, like your wheels need to work, your brakes need to work, and etc. So, but the primary thing is you need enough energy to be able to do any of that. And you need to clean your filters out in your car engine, right? It doesn't matter, you can put the nicest fuel in, but if your filters are stuffed and your wheel bearings are clogging, it's still not going to work, right? So this is where toxins, and a car is a great analogy, actually. Well, a hydrogen car is a great analogy about how we work. And so what I found was it was very, very easy to create the correct charge of water, because what you get from bottled water is positively charged hydrogen. What you get from some of these hydrogen generators, you see, well, you're going to get hydrogen water. Well, if it's positively charged hydrogen, what's the point, by the way? Right, so a lot of those devices don't do that. But copper has this magical property that when you stir water with it or put water in a copper jug, it becomes negatively charged. And you might have heard of that term, structured water. That's what
Yes.
structured water means. It means it is able to create a structure which is a tetrahedron because of the negative charge. You've probably all seen at school like this picture of H2O.
Yeah.
And you get like these bunny ears. You've got your hydrogens here and you've got your oxygen here. Well, if these have to be negatively charged so that they repel each other. And so then you can create structures. And when they then form structures, they then form these tetrahedral structures, which is the building blocks of the whole universe. Everything is built up at the very basic level of tetrahedrons. And that's why we say we are water. We are pretty much, okay, people say we're 60, 70% water. What does that mean? Well, they're talking about weight or volume. When you talk about it from a quantum point of view, that means going down to the very smallest waves that you've got. You're basically hydrogen with some oxygen, a bit of carbon, some nitrogen, and the rest is insignificant. You're mainly hydrogen. That's what you're mainly made of. And so the correct charge of that is really important, and that's what gives you vigor. So on the detox guide, I explain to people you can't drink tap water, you've got to filter it or distill it, charge it up with a copper rod, and then add minerals to it, which you can get from fulvit minerals or you can get from unprocessed sea salt. So not
Celtic
table.
sea salt.
So Celtic sea salt, yeah, or grey salt. That's just a brand name, is Celtic sea salt, yeah. So you'll get 86 of
Grey
your
salt.
100. That's right. You get 86 of your 102 minerals if you do that, and then that's your
And so with
electrolytes.
copper, do you just get a copper rod from from
Yeah,
from the from the bloke shop?
the bloke shop, yeah. You can get them for about £3 off eBay. Just get like a food
Okay.
safe one, a pure copper rod, and just twizzle it round. And so I've done
Okay.
then experiments, like grown experiments, because people say, oh no, you need to do more of this, you have to vortex. And vortex does working as long as it's going clockwise, which most vortexes do. But I did an experiment with,
I bought one of your stickers. I stuck it on the distiller jug, so all the water
yes,
that I'm drinking is going through that. Can you just explain those sticker things that you do?
yes, that's right. So just going a bit further on from there. So whilst all
Sorry,
this
yes.
is going like in the kind of 3D, we've created these stickers called quantum water chargers with Kelly, who's been on your show before. So these just look like stickers, but we have charged them up at a quantum level. That just means really small, so you can't see it moving, right? Whenever you can see vibrations like that are bigger, you can hear them, you can see them, etc. But this is very small, so it's vibrating, and it's got a quantum magnetic field that's going clockwise. So when you add it to your water, it's changing the charge of all the water in there, okay, and all the hydrogen in there. So that when you then consume it, it is in harmony with your biofield. And because of the frequencies we put in are from nature, what we found is that absolutely grounds you to the earth. So the experiments that you're saying, that the live experiments that we do live on stage, is we show that if you pick something up like a mobile phone, it disrupts your magnetic field because the charge is the opposite to what you want it to be. So it is harvesting your life force energy. It is stealing all that negatively charged hydrogen in order to, get rid of it out of your body. So your body is like having to fight this every single day. And it isn't just a mobile phone, it's like Wi-Fi and, the laptop that I'm on. But when you drink this water, it's so incredibly grounding that these frequencies go around you that it doesn't steal your charge anymore. And that's what we demonstrate like on stage. And we get these blokes who are like, it's usually blokes. The women seem to be a bit more open-minded, but not all the ways, right? And we say, right, we want the most skeptical people to come out on stage. And we do this muscle test. Because if you're electromagnetic, if we've solved the magnetic problem, we will have solved the electrical problem. And that's because your muscles and your brain and everything works on the electricity. So electromagnetic, electricity and magnetism come together. You cannot have electricity without magnetism. You can't have magnetism without electricity. So that's why we're electromagnetic, right? And we get out on stage and then we do what's called a muscle test. We have someone hold their arm out like this, and then we try and push the arm down. And it's like some people are stronger than others. And they're like, yeah, okay. So we test the weight and the person's going, okay, yeah, resist, and they're resisting, right? Then we get them to hold a mobile phone in this hand, and then we try and push it down again, the same kind of strength, and it will go like this. And the people will go, oh, what? They can't believe that just the electrical device with a battery, and that can be, it can be headphones, it can be hearing aids, anything, makes them really weak. Then we tell them to put the phone down and try it again, strong again. Pick up the phone, weak. However, when they've got, and I've got one on the back of my phone, either one of these devices on the back of a
Me
phone,
too.
which we make, yeah, that's one,
Yeah, I got
or
one of
they,
those too.
yes, you've got one of them,
Yeah.
or
Where my phone is.
somewhere, isn't it? Somewhere. Or they drink the water, right? It's so powerful that when we then get them to hold the phone and put their arm down, they are back strong. And actually, very often, they are stronger than they were before. Now, we do these experiments live on stage, and we get these big burly men going. We had one guy that was an MMA fighter and a bodybuilder, and he was like, yes, he's like, I've heard all this stuff before. I was like, I want you on stage. Oh, his little face. And so, do you know, in the last like 2 months, he's gone on a detox, he's lost loads of weight, he's stronger because he was like wearing his watch or his headphones to work out.
Amazing.
So he's beating more people up, which is the aim of the game for MMA, right? And so, so therefore, he's like buzzing. He's like, I can't believe that this happened. But we demonstrated this, live because it's kind of
Yes.
difficult for people to get their head around, right?
Because the thing is, in this material world we live in, we're so in the mind and in practical and material world that it can be. I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I've been in the natural healing world for all my life pretty much. So I've gradually become open. But for most people, I'd imagine that it's too big of a jump to talk about quantum, talk about electrics because we can't see it. But this is a lovely, simple demonstration that's very clear and evidential that it can't help but sort of make you think, well, what's that? It can't. You have to open up because of that. I think it's such a simple, obvious, practical demonstration.
And that's the work you do as well. I mean, people can, see that you haven't given them anything to help their pain go away, that they somehow have
Ah,
changed their being.
I see so many people. I teach people online, and so many people they'll be talking at the beginning of the sentence of some very serious, very traumatic, very deeply affecting things, whether it's physical things or emotions or past stuff, or they might be in a terrible state, but by the end of the conversation, sometimes by the end of their sentence, they've changed to the opposite, to a good feeling place, to the body is reacting rashes decline or the pain disappears. Um, when you can feel, that's why I like to work with the body because it's when you can see evidential change, feel evidential change, then it sort of encourages you to continue whatever you're doing.
Hmm.
It's evidence, isn't it? We need to feel things, I think,
I,
sometimes.
I really love how you said that. I think it's really important what you do because, especially when it comes to trauma, that people don't always want to really go right into exactly what happens and when and air their dirty laundry. But the actual physical symptoms, I love just, your work there because that is just a really nice route into that without, people having to, people don't want to air their dirty laundry in front of
No.
somebody. But this is the manifest kind of version of the frequency that's inside them. And it's a brilliant way in, Althea.
It's so simple, it's evidential. But what about quantum? So, how do people understand what is this quantum thing? How
What's
tell us
Well, I've
about it?
also got a little bit of evidence as well. So the way the way that I would describe quantum, so I've just kind of shown you these waves and they, a bigger version of these waves you can hear as sound. I mean, sound is still a magnetic frequency, but and light is, right? The way that the 3D science is taught is not accurate, okay? But one way to describe it is we're going in and looking at things that are very small. And an example I like to give is, those images where it's like different pictures all together when you zoom in, but when you zoom
Yeah.
out, it's like a picture of Elvis,
Yes.
right?
Like dots or something.
Yeah. So on the and you've seen that like they're a collage of little images. So if you were to zoom into the very small, you'd see that there's lots of different images. Like I've seen these done like of the Queen before, right? And
Yeah.
they're all pictures of her, but they're arranged in such a way that when you zoom out, it's the Queen.
Yes.
But also I've seen them where it's like pictures of something completely different. Like the Elvis one reminds me, it's like it was all pictures of women with different background settings. So the question is when you look at that image, is it Elvis or is it a bunch of pictures of women? And the answer is it's both. It depends on your perspective. It depends if you're zooming out, which is a 3D body, and what you can see, or whether you're zooming in. And if you want to change that image of Elvis, right, you have to change each of those little, and let's say the picture of Elvis when you zoom out, because I don't know how these guys make these pictures, are very, very clever. And his nose or something looks a bit weird. You can't change it from here. You have to change it by zooming in and changes those little images that make up when you zoom out to be that nose. And that's exactly how quantum works. That's what we're talking about. The things, the building blocks that make the picture of you and your physical health and appearance as you zoom out.
How
And
do you change those little bits then? What do you do? Is this your method then? This is how you help people, is it?
yeah, we've got quantum frequency trace technology. So we put frequencies of nature, because you are nature, to resonate within you to make your field and you stronger, because everything that you have is within and you are a reflection of nature. So you are just a little bit of the earth, but just kind of in this form. You kind of the best way to describe it is again is I was talking about those ladies, right? If you put all the pictures in one way, you'll have a picture of Elvis, but if you jumbled them up in a different way, maybe had different ones, the picture would look different, but it's all made of the same stuff, right? Just how you've put it together at that quantum level. So we're putting those frequencies back and magnifying them to make you those little pictures stronger and perhaps even fill in, because a lot of people are deficient in various frequencies, aka minerals, right, to put them back. And I've got a little video just to show that
Yeah, okay.
evidentially, so if you're vibrating, right, and you vibrate enough, especially when the environment that you're in is a healthy organic environment, i.e. it's got the frequencies that you've got in and you're not in your house full of Wi-Fi, right? You can actually glow, right? Really just seeing with the camera. So I've just got something to show if you don't mind that.
Yeah,
So
please do.
so take a look at this. How big is your aura? So, are you an energy healer, drained after clients? Are you irritable or tired a lot? I'm just going to have headaches and generally unwell without a cause? Well, maybe you need to power up your aura. Right, from the so we, vibrational materials. So we put, and so I just shoved it on a bit quicker on there because I just didn't want it all to play. So we make jewelry and put these materials in. So our technology is based on putting materials that are high vibrational, that are also scalar, which means they are quantum materials, as in you when they vibrate and vibrate and get bigger and bigger and bigger without stopping. That's literally what it means, but not all frequencies do. Um, and then we add our quantum frequency trace technology to amplify the life force energies. And we've got some pain codes in these ones. But this is the video mainly that I want to show. I'll give you 5 seconds to notice what's going on inside the pen. Can you see it now? That's me after wearing my Terra Crystal bracelet. And if you want to see the video, here it is again. Can you see how much I'm resonating? Okay. We've put your divine blueprint into our Terra Crystal bracelets, and that magnifies your own soul blueprint. So you can see that, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally glowing. Nobody else is glowing in that picture. It's because I have those materials. We have the quantum frequency trace technology, and that resonates so brightly that somebody was just caught this with a camera and a video, and they said, "Flipping old Joe, you're really glowing." I was like, "Oh, because I was just testing it out, right? I didn't even know." I was like, "Oh, I think they work."
But
So,
you were wearing a bracelet, was it, with your?
well, that one I had a bracelet, but I've got one now as a necklace, and we just sell them on their own as well. But we're using the principles of combining the earth elements because they've got information in, and magnifying by resonant frequency the frequencies that are in us. And obviously there's something special about that land as well, because I'm just resonating with it. But there's a difference between my resonance and their resonance. That's because I've got this on. So I'm very much in harmony, and yeah, I mean, so resonance and
I
harmony.
thought it was just the light, but actually you pointed out that the others weren't, and they were right next to you. And I was
Yeah.
looking at the skin, and it wasn't.
Yeah, that's right. And that video goes on for a little bit longer as well. And there's been quite a few things that have been captured. And I'm encouraging people that now, because we only launched the Terra Crystal pendants like a couple of months ago, a month ago, something like that, to try and catch these images, because your camera picks up more of the magnetic spectrum of light than your eyes can see. And even if you point a picture, this is what I found out about cameras. When you look at it through the screen, it's not picking up all the frequencies because it's too much information. So it can't. But when you press record, it's picking up more of the frequencies. So don't just look through your capture and go, I can't see anything there. Actually take the video, actually take the picture, because you'll see more. And I've caught a lot of things by doing that. So this is kind of showing that because we like to experiment and find things out, right? And so we've played around with different materials, different metals, different quantum frequencies, and we can, make people glow more or less depending on how we pull all those things together. So we've kind of ditched the books now. The books about, I'd say this is like a new generation orgone generator. I mean, orgones are fantastic. They use earth elements to magnify frequency. The problem I see now is that people are making them out of, um, I don't know, stuff that's been shipped in from China, right? And you don't know what frequencies are embedded in those materials. And then they're making these devices. And they do have some power, but they're not very powerful. And it does depend on where you get the materials from, because the frequencies matter. So I've realized it depends on where you're getting metals from, what frequencies you're going to put in, and that's why we use our quantum frequency trace technology and the geometry. Those three things together make a huge difference to, you know,
And
you.
and it's all in evidential. I remember one day I went to Harrods, as you do,
Darling.
and darling, but I was very lost in my life at the time, and I just wandered in to have a look, and just, I was having a day off, and just went to go and have a look at stuff, and I went around the place, enormous grape shop, and I ended up in the garden centre, and I was exhausted. I was tired in a great big shop, and I sat down on this the rocking chair thing, the
Yeah.
garden chair thing, and there was an enormous great big piece of crystal of some whitish sparkly great big enormous great lump of it, like as big as a washing machine, and it was right
Wow.
next yeah, and I put my hand on it, and it was just so cool, and I felt it drain all the exhaustion off me.
Wow.
And I sat there and I thought, this is rather nice. And I just sat there for like 20 minutes and it was just draining all this exhaustion off me. And I thought, what are you? You know, and so we can't see these things, but we feel them. And there's evidence. You feel differently. And there's evidence of the glowing in that film there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think more people should look into this stuff. You've been desensitized
yeah.
because your body can only take so much. And so
Mm,
paying attention to things and the small things, you will realize actually you probably can see, you're just ignoring it. Like we get told, the
yeah.
worst thing that we get told is that your eyesight should be completely crisp and clear. And that's why so many people wear glasses, right? It's unbelievable how many people wear glasses. And
Yeah.
my question is, should everything really have sharp edges? Because it doesn't, you know. Reality really doesn't look like that. It is much more kind of wobbly. And you can see a lot more when you know, look around objects. And I teach people to look at their aura and to see what I could see around a crystal, you can see around people and plants and actually anything. But if you hold your hand up like this and put it against something dark, ideally put it on your laptop. And if you look in between and you make your eyes focus soft, and what I mean by that is instead of just pointing straight forwards, just see if you can see out the corner of your eyes at the same time.
I
And
want to
as you
see a
make,
glow.
and then you can see a glow. That's your
Yeah.
life force energy. That's what you could see around me. You can see it.
Yeah.
That's it. We've all got it. And once you tune into it, once you're like, oh my God, I can see it, you'll start going out and you'll look
Brilliant.
buildings,
Yeah,
trees, everything, and you'll go, oh
I
my God, there's
will.
glow around everything. It's really fun.
It's brilliant. So we're going to open up for question time. But actually, you've just popped a question on the moment of perfect synchronicity. Do you want to unmute Becky and have a chat?
Yes, yeah, that'd be great. It might be because of the screen. When you move your hands, Joe, it's like you have a web between your fingers. Yeah, might be. I can turn my little screen off. We can do a little experiment. You know, I was interviewing a lady the other day, and I'm not brilliant at seeing auras, to be honest with you. I has to be kind of in a certain light. I have to really focus. But this lady I was interviewing, flipping out, she was glowing. And I would wait till the end. I was like, mate, you are on fire. She's like, oh, thanks. But you can see through the screens because that's a liquid crystal display. Crystal is a tetrahedron, which is the same as water. So this is why they use liquid crystal displays because there's a lot of information can be communicated through screens.
Yeah.
So
Becky, do you want to go ahead and speak? Becky, you're unmuted.
Hi. Oh no, it was just my observation. I was looking obviously at her while she was speaking, and as soon as you move your hands, yeah, I don't know, it was like I could see a web between your fingers, and I thought that was quite
depends which background, isn't it?
yeah, maybe you can look back at it later at the recording or something. It
Yeah,
wasn't all the time, so I was wondering, is it maybe
sometimes.
the resolution of the screen, but that's
Yeah.
also trying to work it out in your
Yeah,
mind, making it logical. Although we are talking about, yeah, seeing energy, really, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, it's just super interesting. It's not. I don't have a direct question. This is not a new subject for me, so I'm just enjoying everything that's been shared. Thank you very much.
thank you,
Thank
love.
you. Thank you for sharing, Becky. Yeah, and Sally wants to. Yeah, go ahead, Sally. Just unmute.
Hello, Joe. I've just taken my glasses off. Um, so I just, yeah, it's interesting. I think with glasses, I do it to read. That's
hmm
the thing. I don't do it long distance. It's more short distance. Is there anything you recommend to help that with that?
So I think when you're trying to focus and read something, that's great, but I wouldn't really wear them all the time. And when I was using a screen a lot, I like when I had like my job previously, they tested my eyes and they said you need to wear glasses. And then when I went the next year, this is oh your eyes will work, you need to wear glasses. And then by the third year, I was like, this is a con. I don't believe in any of this now, right? So I stopped wearing them just because I was like, because you know the way that they do the test for the screen test, right? Is like they hold up a piece of paper, which is on a laminated piece of paper with text on it, and they said this is your eyesight test to work out whether or not you need glasses for a screen. Basically, whether or not I had to pay for it or my employer, right? And I said, but that isn't what you see on a screen. It's pixelated. It isn't black on white writing. How on earth does that test replicate what I see on a screen? And I said, my eyes are getting worse. And so I think I need new glasses. Anyway, he just completely dismissed me because, and I was like, this is all about money. So I literally stormed out because it's sulking, basically, saying, oh, I'm not paying. So I didn't wear them. And then now I can see better. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think that, and I have talked to this about to an optician about this. The more you wear the glasses, they make the eyes sort of lazy, and you need more more stronger glasses. The other thing, I just want to say, I really felt your presentation was really clear because you were talking about quite complex um, concepts and ideas, but I did understand it. So thank you very much. I'm really interested about the copper rod and how do you do that with the water? Because I live in Devon and I'm lucky I buy pure Dartmoor water, which is from a Dartmoor spring. Um, how do you do the copper rod, please?
yeah, brilliant. So you've got some very energized water as it is, which is amazing. So um, what I found is depends on how people store it. Like if you store it in plastic, plastic steals charge because it's positively charged, and it probably sits in plastic for 3, 4, 5 days before it starts losing that structure, that water. But if you store it in glass, it lasts longer, but not forever. So if you want to just whiz it up, literally you can have, this is two ways that I say, get a zinc lined copper jug. And the reason why I say that is because not everyone can tolerate a lot of copper. And if it's zinc lined, you still get the charge because zinc and copper make a battery. So you can just store it in there. And I've done like seed germination experiments, by the way, doing this like without, and the seeds germinate very fast just having it in the jug, or put it in a glass jug instead of having it stored in a glass, just so you can get the rod in. And then, like I say, these rods are about £2.50 from eBay, and spin it around.
Okay, so you just spin it around for
Yeah,
how long?
I don't know, 20 seconds, 30 seconds.
Oh,
I
right.
do
So you just put it in and spin it round. And do you spin it round anti-clockwise then?
clockwise.
Oh, clockwise. Okay.
Clockwise gives a negative charge. Actually, the copper doesn't matter so much with copper because copper itself changes the charge of the hydrogen. But if you ever use anything else, don't spin things anti-clockwise because you will change the magnetic field. And then the other thing is to put these quantum water chargers on that we've got. That's the easiest way as well to do it because once you have, so if you were to have a jug and put one of these naturally high vibrations, which is protects you then from EMF, as you drink the water it'll be in your biofield. You only need to drink like a few sips of water and then your biofield then is protected for 24 hours. So when you're outside, in a way that if you were to drink the water, it's got the minerals in, it's got information in, it's got memory in and all that kind of stuff. But in our experience, it doesn't ground people and protect them from EMF. You need something stronger, which is what these quantum water chargers do. They're stronger.
Okay. Instead of using the rod, is that?
So personally, I do both,
Okay. Okay.
if that
Okay.
helps. Because
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
adding frequency at a quantum level, one's kind of adding magnetic field at a kind of more general higher level. But the fact that you get your water from where you get it from, I imagine yours is, you know, pretty, it's full of life anyway. But it can do no harm.
Yeah,
Everything
no,
has to
no,
be copper,
it
yeah.
is full of life, but it's in big plastic bottles, you know,
Yeah, which is,
and then I just decant it into glass bottles. Um, yeah, but
so
only 5 bottles at a time. So, yeah, no,
a
thank
bit, a
you.
bit of
It's
cop, a bit of copper will sort out any degradation, but I think it'll hold for a fair amount of time. But it sounds brilliant what you're doing. Fantastic. Love it. I wish there was
okay.
a spring around here.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a website to say where the natural springs are. There's a
Yeah.
whole website about England, and I don't know if you've looked at that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for that. I did look. There was one, and it was called a healing spring, and it was just down the road. And of course, they've capped it and put concrete over it.
Mm.
No, that's
Yeah,
Well,
but
terrible.
well, maybe that's the thing that you can, you know, get it
stop.
sprung again.
I'll get my, yeah, cement thing out.
Get it on the council. Like we want our natural springs back.
Yes, exactly. There are people doing that, which is great, and unfurling them. Yeah. Thank you
Thank
for
you
that.
so much.
Thanks, Sally.
Thank you, Sally. And David's bought some of your products and had some great results from it. David, do you want to come on to share what happened for you? How was it? He says, I wanted to
Oh,
thank I met you at the festival and yeah, David, do you want to go ahead?
Sorry about that. I'm not a genius with these technical things.
Doing great.
I thought I recognised you, David.
Ah, well, yeah. I mean, when I saw you at the festival, I really enjoyed your talk. You know what you said, and obviously it was sort of freedom leaning, and what a great bunch of people were there on that day. But
Yeah.
anyway, I bought some of your detox pills. And I did actually know, and I'm not here, by the way, for anybody else listening. I don't know Joe. It's not an
Not a
advert. I'm not
stooge.
pushing pills. Okay. I've got to say, in all honesty, I felt a huge difference. You mentioned clarity of mind. Well, you know, I'm knocking on a bit, so clarity of mind's a very useful thing to have, really. But also physically, yeah, I felt better. So my question to you was that basically, I've run out of pills, okay, and I was wondering, you know, how often I need to do this. Is it a one-off thing? Can I have some more pills, please, miss?
Yes, sure. So to answer your question, the detox capsules that I detox myself with and my family, as David's talking about, now sell on the Crystal Water Experience website, and we've sold loads and loads of these now because they're not only anti-heavy metal and anti-parasitic, but they've also got a binder in like diatomaceous earth, which is a natural product. It's all organic, and I still make them by hand myself. So what they're low dose of everything. So there's a little bit of milk thistle in there, but it's only like 150 milligrams. So everything's low dose, but it's broad spectrum. So they're very safe to use. Unlike, you know, some detoxes like wormwood and all that kind of stuff. It's very hardcore, and you can only take it for 21 days. Otherwise, you get liver damage. Okay. But however, parasites persist for longer. So what I would say that, well, this is my regime, David, is like I I do it at least a couple of times a year for a month or spread out through the year because the air that we breathe, everything, people that we come into, there's some toxicity. So this will keep kind of cleaning your system every so often. And because it's so mild, I've even got a lady with fibromyalgia who refuses to change her lifestyle, right? But she has my detox capsules every single month because it combats a crappy lifestyle. And she said it's the only thing that keeps her healthy. So because of the doses in them, it's low dose of everything, and it's only really the milk thistle that has any thing to just be careful of with prescriptions. Then you know people are on them for long periods of time. So yeah, I'd keep going, David, because of the air and the clouds and all that kind of stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's answered my question, Joe, and I really appreciate that. So I shall be ordering again quite soon.
Thank you
And
so much, David, for the
good
feedback.
luck with what you do. And I find it I mean, yeah, I'm a bloke, so I'm not real big on healing, if you understand what I'm saying. Go to the doctor with my legs hanging off, sort of a thing. But yeah, I shall certainly carry on with that. Oh, one other thing. This might be a silly question. I've got a copper saucepan, a very old one. It's really old. If I were to put water in that, would that work? Would I still stir it clockwise with a rod, or
No, you crack on with your saucepan. What all I'd say is for some people, but when you have water sitting around in copper, it can taste a bit coppery. Not everyone can tolerate a lot of copper. So just have it stored in there for sure. It doesn't take long to charge. And this is what I've tested with the seed germination experiments. Like if I was just having it sitting in copper or something, then I don't know, I'd have it sitting in there for half an hour or something before I drank it. But yeah, I'd
okay?
crack on, use your old one. It's probably better.
Yeah, okay. I shall follow your instructions,
All right.
and
Thank you,
I'll
David.
be in touch, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye bye.
Fantastic. Thank you for your question, David. You're sharing that, David. And yeah, so we just got a couple of minutes left. So I just looked up the place to find your nearest spring is findaspring.com. It's all little letters together.
Yeah.
Findaspring.com. And you can find where your local spring is, and hopefully it's not concreted over. I can't believe that's terrible, isn't it?
Oh God, I know.
Where does the water go if they concrete it over anyway? If it's a natural spring, it'll keep coming, isn't it?
Well, exactly. Yeah. So there's loads of riverways. There's a ley line run under my house. It's a very powerful place, Hemlock Stone, and I talk about the fact that it used to be pyramids and all this kind of stuff, and there's waterways around there. But that's another story, Althea.
Another story, another podcast. So where do things go from here? Because you do lots of talks, you go to lots of events, and you've developed this crystal water, is it called? Crystal
Crystal
water
water experience. Yeah.
experience, and lots of products and different things on your website. And where do things go from here for you? What's the trajectory for you now?
Uh, that's a really great question. Thank you for asking. I would really love one of these phone stickers on every child's phone, or one of these quantum water chargers in every child's water bottle, and not to be drinking tap water. Now, there's one thing I can control. I can at least protect these kids from EMF. I mean, it's just absolutely insane what they're being bombarded with. And so my real mission is to really help the children get out of this mind fog that is all this EMF radiation. That is really, we're going to have an explosion of incidents, coming up. So I really want to protect them from that. That's my major mission. My real wish and desire is that we didn't need to do this, right? And that the water and the food that we eat is clean, dynamic, full of energy. So there's two things there. So it's Christmas coming up now. What I'd say to people is, we are all putting bits and pieces in people's stockings. This is, putting one of these biofield defense shield in is, the kids probably like crumple their nose at it, depending on their age, but it is actually going to be something that's going to be beneficial for them.
And you're really proof of the pudding. I mean, you look glowing. You're literally glowing, and you look so well. And I see some of your posts and things. You look shiny, bright, and you look so young. And so you're proof of the pudding. But how do you get through to teenage? I've got a 14, 15-year-old, and last night, I mean, I say to them all, right, the Wi-Fi is going off at night. It's all moans. And then I say you've got to unplug and put on airplane mode, because I hear that even if it's near you and it's on airplane mode, it's still having a charge. And the earpods especially.
Ah,
Well, last night I went into my daughter's room and she was asleep and she had the phone up against her like that. I
ah.
thought, I can't seem to get through to the kids. How do you get through to a teenager?
Well, I have two, and
You got teenagers too.
and on the way to dropping my 18-year-old off to his temporary job, I said, "Have you drank your water this morning? Have you taken your bottle of water with you? Because otherwise, you're just drinking tap water at work." And he's like, "Oh no, I forgot." So it was like, the easiest thing to do is put a quantum water charger on their water jug, so at least that water's in them. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But actually, right, he had a shower this morning, and I've got one of them on the shower head, and they don't even have to drink it, right? And even though the water's horrible coming out the tap, it still goes into their biofield for 24 hours. So answer is, I sneak it in, Althea, because they don't flip and even listen to me.
Because teenage time, they're going to be, there's that push and pull with parents anyway, isn't it? So you get that. I sneak it in. I'll try. Fantastic. So where do people find out about you? How can they find out more? How can David get the pills, or somebody get the pills, and all the other things that you talk about in the offer?
Thank you so much. All people need to do is go to www.crystalwaterexperience.com. We've got videos of proof on there, loads more information, and all the stuff that we do. So if you wanna glow, then this is the way forward. And the free detox guide is on there as well. I wanted to give that to humanity as part of the things we do. I mean, the other thing that our website doesn't do is we use this technology, this quantum frequency trace technology in our work for humanity. So we go around to springs and buildings and places and everything, changing the frequency of towns and cities and things like that. So that's also another story. But we were given this gift to share it and to keep us safe in these times. So
Amazing.
that's what we're here to do as much as anything else.
Thank you so much. And so we're going to come to a close now. And wherever you're watching this on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're watching this recording, remember to hit the notification and the like and the share and all the buttons. You know what to do. Because the more you engage into this, then share it and then click your buttons and all that, it's going to spread it out further and wider. So please do that. And for the next podcast, book on to the next podcast. And we've actually got the Bowler Hat Farmer coming on later today. So you mentioned about farming and things. So do come along to that. It's tonight at tonight at 7:00.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, book onto that and have a chat. He's a lovely guy too. You'll find all the details on how to book onto the next podcast and all the replays at painfreedom.co.uk. So, Jo, I always like to leave my guests the last words. A last word or a last thought or a last practice or a focus. How would you like to leave people today?
I just want to thank you for bringing me on and everything that you're doing, Althea. And I think you'd probably share it in me, explain to people that you are important. Everything you do, every life that you change is important, but it starts with you. So please spend some time on you and yourself because you are important. We love you and you're amazing.
Amazing. What a beautiful word to go out in the day. Thank you so much, Jo. It's been wonderful to have you on. And as David said, as Sally said, to explain something actually really complex. And it was so delightful how you explained it. And even I got it.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. It wouldn't be a podcast unless we had listeners and guests. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.